Hey guys, what's going on? And this is going to be your SaMwaY predictions for Europe. Now that the qualifiers are over, we're going to be going over who I think will be getting through the double elimination bracket, just who's the best in Europe right now, who I think will prevail. So yep, without further ado, if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure you hit subscribe. Just the best way to support the channel, and I thank you to everyone who subscribes. So yep, let's get right into the video. And first up, we have Okhalid versus Louie. Now I'm going to make this one a little bit quicker. Okhalid versus Louie. I think Okhalid takes this, or I think Okhalid takes this in a convincing fashion. I am one of the people who believes that Okhalid is the best 1v1 player in the entire world right now. Okay, his shot accuracy is like no other. I think Okhalid has the best shot accuracy out of any player in the world right now. Just his ability to pick and place his shots perfectly in like a top corner or top shelf, something like that. He's just phenomenal at it. Okay, he rarely misses his mark, and yeah, it's gonna be really hard for Louie to go up against just a powerhouse like Okhalid. I think it'd be hard for anyone to. So I think Okhalid takes this. Then next up we have Astral versus apparently Jack. Now this one was actually hard for me to decide because obviously on paper you would think, okay, Astral takes this, but if you remember back in the Fusion tournament, back in the last major 1v1 that we had, apparently Jack actually upset Joreuz, and apparently Jack played a lot better than I'm pretty sure most people expected him to play, and that might happen here too. Who knows? I mean, apparently Jack could just be this underrated 1v1 player that we didn't know existed, and you know, he's going to come out and he's going to show everyone that beating Joreuz wasn't a fluke, that he could do it against Astral as well. You know, I think this is going to be a much closer game than some people might think. Okay, I still have Astral taking this. I think Astral still will win. However, I think apparently Jack has a really good opportunity to upset or at least make a good case for why he had beat Joreuz back in the Fusion tournament. So look out for that match for sure. Then we have Dead Monster versus Joreuz. And this one's another one that's really hard for me to pick who's going to win. Again, on paper, Joreuz should easily win this. However, remember, apparently Jack beat Joreuz back in the Fusion, but then Dead Monster beat apparently Jack in qualifiers. So it's like, what does this mean? Do they just beat each other? What's going on? You know, with how good some of these players have gotten at 1v1s, it's just very hard to kind of pick who I think is going to win because upsets happen a lot now. But alright, you know, I still have to give it to Joreuz. Okay, Joreuz, I think that in this situation will prevail. I think that he will take it over Dead Monster. And then let's get on to SaMwaY versus Revezi. And you know what? SaMwaY has been getting a lot better at ones recently. He's been putting in the hours. However, I think Revezi just is better. Revezi is an insanely good ones player. You know, he's been rank 1 many times before. He's just very good at ones, and I don't think that SaMwaY will be able to beat him. I think that Revezi takes this. You know, the last time they played up against each other, I'm pretty sure was on Johnnyboi stream, where Revezi actually swept SaMwaY. Okay, I think that Revezi is just on a different level, and I think that he'll take this. Then let's move on to the losers of round 1. Before we get into the semifinals, we'll talk about Louie and apparently Jack, and then Dead Monster versus SaMwaY. So our first match of the losers round 1, Louie versus apparently Jack. And apparently Jack, man, he's been looking so much better at ones recently. Okay, he was probably one of the most surprising players back in the Fusion 1v1 tournament. You know, I got some comments in my last video asking why I talk about the Fusion a lot instead of the qualifiers. Well, because the Fusion tournament was one of the most major recent 1v1 tournaments to happen, so I feel like it's a really good tournament to continue to go off of the results, talk about what happened with that compared to the Saltmine. Okay, that's kind of why I keep going back over the Fusion tournament, because it just was the most recent major 1v1 tournament. But with that said, of course, that doesn't mean we just completely count out what happens in the Saltmine qualifiers. Now, for those of you who don't know, Louie actually swept apparently Jack in the Saltmine qualifiers. Okay, and Louie did it in a dominating fashion. Louie just whipped out the schlong and just laid the pipe down on apparently Jack. Okay, apparently Jack couldn't do anything about it, and Louie looked so strong. Just not the same apparently Jack that we had seen in the Fusion tournament. And I think that apparently Jack truly just wasn't playing well at all, okay? And Louie was just on his game. You know, I think this could be a lot closer of a match than people think, especially if Louie's on his game. However, some people might disagree with me on this, but I have to give this to apparently Jack, okay? His 1v1s as of recent history have been looking very, very good. You know, I'm not counting out Louie at all. I think he definitely has the potential to take this again like he did before in the qualifiers. But, you know, when it really comes down to it on the big stage, who's going to win? I still have my money on apparently Jack, but we'll see. We'll see. I could definitely be wrong. Then we have Dead Monster versus SaMwaY, and this is another one that's really tough for me to call. You know, I think that on paper, SaMwaY would be better, but Dead Monster played very good in the qualifiers, better than I think a lot of people expected him to play. Okay, Dead Monster took down some very good players in the qualifier. But at the end of the day, I am going to give this to SaMwaY. I think that he just is that bit better of a player. Okay, I think that Dead Monster can make this a very close game. It just depends if he's going to play as consistently as he was, you know, during these qualifiers. But I think that SaMwaY will take this, and then move on to Okhalid versus Astral in the semifinals. Now, I know this is a matchup a lot of people want to see. I want to see it too. Okay, Okhalid, one of the best 1v1 players in the world, arguably the best. Astral is another insanely dominant, not just ones player, but one of the most dominant 3v3 players in the world. Okay, Astral's mechanics are like no other. You know, I feel like Astral's mechanics is just insane mastery of his high-level mechanics could, you know, on the day outweigh Okhalid's insane accurate shooting and ground play. Okay, and I think that's what this matchup's going to be. It's going to be Astral just trying to outplay Okhalid in a very fancy mechanical way, while Okhalid just tries to perfectly place the ball like we're used to him doing. Okay, it's going to be a very exciting matchup. At the end of the day, I got Okhalid taking this. I think that there is nobody right now except Fairy Peak who can combat Okhalid. At least that's what it looks like to me. I definitely think Astral has a chance. I just think that Okhalid 9 times out of 10 and 8 times out of 10 will probably take the match, so giving it to him. Then let's talk about Joreuz versus Joreuz, and some people thought that I was sleeping on Joreuz a little bit, and I'll tell you why. I think that Joreuz didn't have the best last couple showings, at least what I've seen from him. You know, it is worth pointing out that Joreuz actually didn't play in every single qualifier. I think he only played in 2, and he still ended up qualifying, which is very good on its own. You know, so Joreuz definitely isn't slumped. He's not completely out of it. I just did not like what I saw from him back in the Fusion. I liked him in the qualifiers a lot more. However, I still don't think that this is the best we've ever seen him play. Okay, I think that Joreuz will need to be playing at his best if he wants to take on players like Joreuz, you know, Okhalid, apparently Jack, you know, players that have been playing very well recently, Astral, you know, of course. So I want to see, you know, I haven't counted out Joreuz. I just want to see more from him. You know, I still have Joreuz taking this, so for people who are Joreuz fans, okay, I still believe he will take it. However, I think Joreuz has a completely equal opportunity to take this. Okay, I would not be at all surprised if Joreuz beat Joreuz. Okay, I would not call that an upset if he won. So if you are a Joreuz fan, you know, I wouldn't say it's a free win for him, but I do think that Joreuz has the slight advantage. I think that he will probably be taking this, but again, I could see it easily going either way. Okay, Joreuz has been higher rated than Joreuz many times in the past, so who knows, we'll see. Then let's get on to apparently Jack versus Joreuz in the losers round 2. So we saw a lot of great things recently from apparently Jack. However, Joreuz basically a staple at this point in the 1v1 scene. You know, it's very hard to pick between which one of these two I think will take it. However, at the end of the day, despite apparently Jack having his good performances in the past, I think Joreuz is the more consistent player. I think that, you know, on the day, Joreuz should be taking this. So I'm going to give it to Joreuz. You know, again, if apparently Jack took it, I wouldn't be surprised because he'd just been, you know, playing so much better 1v1s as of recently. Okay, I've really liked seeing him play. He's one of those guys that just impresses me a ton. Apparently Jack has a very good resilience, you know, his ability to bounce back. However, I'm going to give this to Joreuz. I think Joreuz makes it on to that single elimination bracket. And then, last but not least, we have Astral versus Dead Monster. Okay, after losing to Okhalid, Astral would be in the losers round 2, while Dead Monster, after beating SaMwaY in the losers round 1, I think we'll end up against Astral. So, I think I can make this one a little bit short. I think Astral definitely takes this. I think Astral's ability in the 1v1 arena definitely 100% outclasses Dead Monsters. Alright, I think Astral's just one of the top players in Europe when it comes to 1v1s, and I think that Astral will show this with a convincing win against Dead Monster. Alright, so just to recap, everybody who made it through, I have Okhalid, Joreuz, Revezzi, and Astral. Those are who I think are the top 4 1v1 players in Europe right now. Those are who I think will make it through. Now, if a player like SaMwaY or apparently Jack made it through, I actually would not be surprised at all. I think that those guys definitely have their upset potential. I think that they are really good as well, and on the day they can end up making it. But who knows? Okay, this is who I have making it, and yeah, we'll just see what happens. But yep, thank you guys all for watching. Thank you guys. This has been your predictions. But yep, thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.